The great chamber of the Celestial Concord's council was filled with a low hum as delegates gathered, their forms shimmering in every imaginable shape and texture, scaled, crystalline, feathered, and translucent. They were united by one singular obsession that had consumed the galaxy for generations: the star puzzle. It was not merely a puzzle in the way a game was. It was a test, a relic found orbiting the collapsed husk of a neutron star, a lattice of impossible equations etched in light that folded into itself endlessly. Every empire, every coalition, every mind that could be bent toward its riddles had tried and failed. It was said that within its solution lay coordinates to something greater than a weapon, greater than treasure. It was said to be the key to understanding the architecture of existence itself. For centuries, it had mocked them. The chamber fell quiet as the projection of the puzzle hovered above, a blinding tapestry of shifting stars and spirals. Delegates leaned in with reverence and dread. Their best mathematicians had burned lifetimes staring into its infinity. Their finest quantum thinkers had ended in madness. But the council still returned, again and again, to wrestle with its mysteries. At the far end of the hall, standing awkwardly among beings of incomprehensible stature, was a human. A single woman, unadorned, no neural augments, no crystalline memory cores, no feathered arrays to enhance thought. She wore nothing but a simple jacket and carried, absurdly, a notebook. Her name was Dr. Elena Marlowe, and she had been brought not because the Concord believed it could succeed, but because of a strange rumor that spread like wildfire across the stars, that humans had a way of seeing the world differently, a way of bypassing impossible problems by not treating them as problems at all. The emissary of the Thraex, a towering insectoid with sapphire mandibles, clacked his jaws. "We have wasted enough time on the ape. Return her to her vessel." The Zorati speaker, a being of smoke and light, whispered back, "And yet, if she fails, what do we lose but moment?" Elena adjusted her hair back behind her ear as the puzzle unfurled above her, filling her vision with a storm of stars collapsing and reforming. She saw the layers of equations interlaced with spinning fractals, recursive loops spiraling endlessly. To the galaxy, it was chaos. To her, it felt strangely familiar, like staring at a jigsaw puzzle dumped out on the floor. She pulled out a pen, ignoring the scandalized gasps as ink touched paper in an age where data was etched in plasma memory or encoded in song. She started sketching, not the equations, not the numbers, but the shapes, the rhythm of their repetition. To her, it wasn't math. It was music. After only a few minutes, her pen stopped. She leaned back, and without ceremony, she said, "You're overthinking it. It's not an equation, it's a map." The chamber erupted in disbelief. "Impossible," hissed the crystalline delegates. "We tried that across millennia," roared a scaled warlord. Elena shrugged, stood, and walked toward the projection. She traced with her finger along one of the spirals. "You're treating each segment as if it's a separate function. It's not. It's just one path, split into harmonics. Connect them like this." She drew lines between points the galaxy's greatest minds had kept separate for eons. The puzzle flared. The impossible lattice, the riddle of light, collapsed into a single shining thread. Coordinates. The chamber froze. The puzzle, their tormentor for centuries, had yielded in minutes to a woman who'd never even seen it before today. Where does it lead?" whispered the emissary of the Thraex. Elena looked at the string of numbers and smiled faintly. "Somewhere you've never been. Somewhere old. Somewhere human." The air shivered with uproar. Delegates screamed of fraud, of witchcraft, of blasphemy. But the evidence hung in the air. The puzzle was no longer infinite chaos, but a door waiting. Ships were dispatched immediately, armadas of the Concord's most trusted fleets, and Elena was dragged along half prisoner, half revered oracle. As the stars streaked past their vessels, the whispers of fear grew. For the puzzle to be solved so easily by a human was not just an insult. It was a warning. What kind of species could treat the galaxy's greatest unsolvable problem as little more than a casual pastime? When they arrived at the coordinates, silence fell across the fleet. Before them lay a structure orbiting a dead star, impossibly ancient, its surface engraved with the same fractal designs as the puzzle itself. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. "What is it?" breathed the crystalline scholar. Elena stared at it for a long time, then said, A lock. With one voice, the Concord asked, "And the key?" She tapped her notebook, already opened it. At her words, the structure came alive. Plates shifted, light poured out, and the dead star woke with a halo of fire. A signal spread across the void, a frequency tuned not to the Concord, not to their empires, but to Earth. Elena felt it before she understood it. The structure was human, not just for humans, but by them. Somehow, impossibly, her species had been here before, in ages lost to their memory, leaving behind riddles for others to stumble on. This cannot be. The Zordi speaker hissed, its form unraveling in agitation. Humanity is young, a minor race. You are not here. Elena closed her notebook. Maybe not us, maybe those before us, but we're their heirs. The structure unfolded into a colossal archive, streams of data flooding the fleets, weapons blueprints, star charts, genetic codices, energy forms beyond their comprehension, all locked until the puzzle had been solved, all waiting for one of their descendants to claim them. The Council, once disdainful, now trembled. Their greatest mystery had been solved in the time it took a human to finish a cup of tea. Their centuries of labor undone by instinct, by pattern recognition, by something they could not replicate. Elena looked at the awestruck faces around her and felt a flicker of unease. She hadn't just solved a puzzle. She had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. The archive sang their secrets into human frequency, accessible only through the strange biological quirks of their species and neural rhythms. To everyone else, it was noise. To her, it was clear as speech. "What does it say?" demanded the insectoid emissary, his mandibles trembling. Elena hesitated. The truth was vast and terrifying. The archive spoke of humanity as not merely another race, but as something seeded, tested, left to grow in hardship and chaos, so they might awaken when the time was right. The puzzle wasn't a challenge for the galaxy. It was a filter, a key meant for one hand alone. She thought of telling them, of sharing. But then she remembered the disdain in their eyes, the centuries of arrogance that had mocked humanity as primitives. She smiled faintly, a very human smile that carried both kindness and warning. "It says, the puzzle was never meant for you." In the silence that followed, the fleets hung in uncertainty. Some whispered of war, others of alliance, but all now knew the truth. There was something about humanity that lay outside the galaxy's careful order, something unpredictable, something dangerous. Elena tucked her notebook away and turned back toward her ship, the archive still pouring into her mind like fire. Behind her, the Council of the Concord, the greatest minds of the stars, could only watch as a single human woman walked away with the secrets of eternity, secrets their kind could never touch. And in that moment, every species understood the same terrible truth. The galaxy's greatest puzzle had not been solved by humanity. Humanity itself was the puzzle,